Welcome to the Kavkas view. We're back, people. Today, Victor Osimhen. Victor Osimhen. Is he Chelsea bound? Apparently, Chelsea put in a bid, or did they? We're going to get into that. Additionally, we're going to look at the stats compared to Tammy Abraham. Because if he comes, he's taking Tammy's spot, or he's competing with Tammy Abraham. So in this video, we're going to look at the Premier League stats, and the Champions League, and the Ligue 1 stats. 3 types of stats, so let's get into it, and you get confirmation of whether there was actually a bid in place, to my understanding. Let's go. Last night, there were crazy reports going around. Apparently, Chelsea put in a bid for Victor Osimhen. A French reporter came out and said that Chelsea submitted a bid. The fee was somewhere north of £60 million. Rumours have it, it's around £75 million. That fee is too big. There is no way that is true. I know Marina Garaskaiva would never do anything to that. But was it Chelsea? No. It was Spurs. And that makes me believe it even less. There is no chance Spurs would bid that kind of money for a player in this current climate when they're furloughing people. They would not risk the media backlash. Additionally, they don't move like that. They don't spend that kind of money on strikers that will be back up to Harry Kane. And additionally, it just stinks of a lie. As you can see here, it's in French, but the translation clearly indicated to me that he's confirming it wasn't Chelsea, it was Spurs that made the move. So it's interesting. But who is Victor Osimhen and how would he fit into Chelsea if he does come in? Let's talk about him. Osimhen has openly spoken about leaving Lille and joining an elite tier Premier League club. He has made it perfectly clear. They're a stepping stone club. He's got aspirations and he wants to accomplish them. And there's nothing wrong with that. He has spoken openly about an African certain striker that has wore that blue beautiful jersey that inspired him as a kid. Who's that? King Didier. King Didier Drogba has inspired Osimhen to want to play for a club like Chelsea. The caliber of Chelsea is attractive because of our past history, of our recent success, and most importantly, of the project that Frank Lampard is currently building with the club at the moment. So, can we get him? I think if we put the money on the table, yes we can. Will we get him? I'll answer that later in the video. Let's get into the stats. If you made it this far, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying it. If not, continue watching and I guarantee you will subscribe by the end of the video because the stats are sick. Let's get into it. Chelsea and Lille were in the same Champions League group, so we're going to cover those stats because it's similar competition, similar teams they were playing against, and they played against each other. Additionally, we're going to cover their league form. So let's get into it. As you can see on my screen right now, both players have scored 13 goals in the league, and both players have scored 2 Champions League goals. For me, that's a decent return for 2 young strikers with their first season in the Champions League. It's encouraging. It's a sign of good things to come. We live in an era now where scoring goals as a striker is not the main and only goal. I need more from you. So 3 assists and 4 assists for Victor is not a great return, but it's something they could develop. Both of them had no assists in the Champions League, which is kind of disappointing considering it's the big occasion, the big players step up, and it's room for development in both their games. If Mourinho could select any young strikers in the world, I think he would go for those 2. Both of them are stereotyped Mourinho strikers. Big, powerful, quick, instinctive finishers. So, it's no surprise for me when you look at the aerial duels won. 3.3 for Tammy in the league and 4 for Victor. That is amazing. 4 headers won. The same thing happened in the Champions League. You can tell Victor is very dominant in the air and Tammy's doing his best with hanging in there with the 3. The 3 is not great for Tammy considering the size of him, but I think he's growing into his body, is going to develop. But with Victor Osimhen, he bullied our centre-halves when he played against us, especially in the away game. We won that game, but it wasn't a convincing win. Playing for elite teams, Tammy Abraham realised you're going to get chances. 2.9 shots per game. Osimhen playing for Lille, where a team is based around him, basically, and plays to his strengths. He gets good chances as well, 3.3. This regurgitated into the Champions League as well, 2.9 and 3. Both players average around about the same number of shots. It would be interesting to see their conversion rates. How good are their conversion rates? Because they must be pretty similar. They've scored the same amount of goals. So, is it encouraging? At this young age, very encouraging. For me, the Drogba comparisons end there. in the sense that neither one of Tammy or Victor like to dribble with the ball. Drogba used to get the ball on the half turn around and run at players, commit on them. He used to bully them just by using his body. So did Diego Costa. But with these two, based on this previous year's stats, 0.6 dribbles attempted per game for both. And in the Champions League, Victor Osimhen only has one more. It's a little bit worrying. Usually when players are young, they're more courageous. They like to take on people and it motivates them to do more things and attempt stuff. So the fact that it's so low, could it be an anomaly? Maybe. But could it be a sign of the type of player they are? I think so. I don't think they're ever going to be the Aguero type player where they're going to attack players and attract fouls and just be niggly and just neat on the ball. The way football is developing, the target man needs to be neat on his feet. He needs to be able to play a key pass. So Oli Giroud does it perfectly. Giroud is phenomenal at this. He's made a career of it, not scoring a lot of goals, just being that link-up man, just being the glue for a team. So when you look at it, and they both average 8.8 key passes per game, and in the Champions League, both their numbers increased to 1.1 and 1.4 for Victor. It's encouraging, man. You know, that's what you want. You want him to be big, strong, the aerial duels, bring the ball under control, release it. It's something that you want to see, and it encourages you that there is potential in both in the future. Being that target man and the isolated man in a 4-3-3, the way Chelsea want to play, you need to be able to win niggly fouls, and you need to be able to bully defenders. Tammy averages 8.0 fouls per game. So he gets fouled 8.0 times a game. Osimhen, on the other hand, in the league averages 1.5. That's actually really good. And both of them averaged nearly 1 in the Champions League. In the Champions League, refereeing is different. So this Champions League stat almost gives us a different comparison and a different element to their game. So for me, it's very encouraging that at this young stage, before they've even learned how to use their body, because at youth team level, I don't think they had to play that kind of play. They were technically better than most players. They were always getting in on goal and having shots. And there weren't many defenders that were stronger than them. So now they're coming up against grown man strength. You know, that LeBron James strength. So at the end of the day, it's very interesting to see how they differ. And this is the key stat where they differ. Tammy averages 0.8 offsides per game. Victor averages 1.2. And in the Champions League, it was 0.4 for Tammy, 2.4 for Osimhen. That 2.4 tells me this guy's more of a Michi striker, where he wants to get in behind, threaded balls, and he is always on the half turn, trying to get through one-on-one. Tammy's more of a feed me type of striker, and that's where I think they differ, so could be a good alternative to have in the team. But it's a high number to get caught offside, and I know how the Chelsea fan base is. If you ain't scoring and you're getting caught offside, you're getting abused. So is it a smart move? Playing for Chelsea, you need to be one of the best in your position, in my opinion. That's the level we want to get to. So as target men, they need to be able to maintain the ball very well. They get dispossessed too easily, in my opinion. 1.4, both of them getting dispossessed per game in the league. 1.6 for Tammy and 1.2 for Victor in the Champions League. That's a high number. They need to simmer that down a little bit. Additionally, unforced touches. These are the ones I cannot accept. You're a Premier League footballer, you should not have unforced touches. 1 at most. So the fact that they both average 2.7 and 2.9 for Tammy in the Champions League and 2 for Victor, they need to cut that out. That will develop with technique, but it also highlights that there's a little bit of raw ability that might not be able to be fixed. It might just be the type of player they are. Modern day football requires you get involved. It requires that you're consistently building up the play. You're the vocal point as the main guy. You're almost a regista up front. You're almost the guy that pinballs everything off you. So the fact that they both average around about 13, 14 passes per game, I think is kind of bad. Especially the way Frank wants to play, with the ball's going to get pinned in, back into the midfield, over the top for the two wingers to run in or slid through passes. I think they both need to improve that side of the game, and it's an aspect they can improve because they're technically not bad players. Additionally, they both have a poor passing success percentage. In the league, they're both on 60 in the 60s. That's terrible. Like, you should be better. Like, that's like 4 out of 10 times you're giving the ball away. That's actually mad, like, if you think about it. In the Champions League, it's a little bit better. It's 70% and 76% for Victor. but it's something that I'd want considerably higher. Maybe it's going to come with age. Maybe they'll develop that passing success rate with age as it comes. But do I want Victor? In my opinion, I don't want him. Because we already have Tammy. They're similar. They're very similar strikers. And the investment is just another word, investment. Why do we need another investment? Just go get me Lautaro Martinez. Especially for the fee that's being reported. I know it'll be nowhere near that high. And I know there'll be a lot of add-ons and all that nonsense. But Tammy's a good second choice striker that can push the first choice and want to become the first choice. If you bring Victor in, Tammy has to become the second choice. I want a certy striker. I don't know how to explain it. I want a Lautaro Martinez, a Mauro Icardi. Give me a Jovic, someone who's a proven goal scorer. Someone a little bit different to Tammy as well. Give me some versatility. I don't want two of the same kind players. Basically, that's a wrap. If you made it this far, you best be hitting that like and subscribe because I know you enjoyed that. And yeah, tell me, what do you think? Do you want him? Is the fee worth it? And additionally, if he comes in, is it the end of Tammy? So, let me know. I'm out. Peace out.